What a way to celebrate a birthday! Honda Cars is right here at the Clark International Speedway where it's celebrating two milestones. The 50th anniversary of the continuous production of the Civic and the 25th anniversary of the Civic Type R. Come join us as we take this ultimate track car right here for a spin. Before getting to the drive itself, let me do a bit of history first. The newest Civic Type R, codenamed FL5, is the 6th generation Civic to bear the crimson Honda logo since the EK9 in 1997. Back then, the design brief of the Civic Type R was simple. It was the attainable Type R. However, in the decades that followed, it gradually embodied the Type R philosophy to the maximum as well. Today, it is the ultimate front-engine, front-wheel drive performance hatchback that can tackle the daily commute from Monday to Friday as much as the circuits on weekends. Getting the most controversial aspect out of the way first, let me talk about the design. I, for one, like it. See, for most of the Civic Type R's history, its Clark Kent to Superman transformation was not as dramatic. So I'm just glad to see Honda's gone back to that philosophy with the newest model. It's also worth mentioning that the noiseless design is functional, designed for reduced air resistance and drag. By integrating elements like the widened wheel arches and even the way the rear spoiler is mounted, it has made the Civic Type R produce more downforce while suppressing air resistance. Designed around the concept of Ultimate Sports 2.0, the FL5 Honda Civic Type R has gone for an evolutionary approach. It builds on its predecessor's strength with the goal of making it better in every single way. The basic bones may have been carried over, but Honda engineers took to a microscope, examined every single part, and optimized them with precision. For starters, Honda didn't just bump up the turbocharged 2.0-liter VTEC 4-cylinder engine's power figures, but engineers worked to improve its cooling, a known issue with the previous Civic Type R. Apart from a larger, thicker radiator, the intercooler was redesigned and everything in front of the turbo cleared up to flow air directly to the hood vent. Suspension-wise, Honda's gone against the grain here by fitting the newest Civic Type R with smaller wheels than before. Instead of the old 20-inch wheels, 19-inch wheels were selected. The wheels themselves have a reverse rim design not just to help clear the massive Brembo brakes, but to improve the tire's contact patch at load. Oh, and speaking of the tires, they're also thicker, 265mm versus 245mm, and specially tuned for the hot hatch by Michelin. Now that I've gotten the nerdy stuff out of the way, it's time to learn what it feels like behind the driver's seat. Having driven the previous Civic Type R, getting into the FL5 gave off a familiar feeling, especially with the low-slung, body-hugging seats. Of course, improvements have been made here and I could feel that the moment I tooled with the shifter. There's a reworked linkage with shorter, more precise throws. The knob itself is now a teardrop shape for better grip and mounted closer to the steering wheel. Gazing into the instrument cluster, there's a unique motorsport-style shift lights mounted at the top of the gauges. With a lighter flywheel, 18% lighter than before, the Civic Type R channels more of its engine's grunt to the pavement in a much quicker manner. This, along with its close ratio 6-speed manual, can catch you off guard if you're caught napping behind the wheel. Truth be told, there were instances where I found myself bouncing in the rev limiter just because it ate up through all of its available revs in a heartbeat. Dynamically, the Civic Type R's on-track behavior was completely rethought. While the previous model was a crazed lunatic through corners, this one's more linear and mature, trading a bit of that outright playfulness with rock-solid stability. The steering itself is impossible to fault for its accuracy and precision. Better still, the chassis has the tenacious grip to match. Don't let its driven wheels fool you. The way it scratches away at pavement for traction matches even the best all-wheel drive machinery. That traction is apparent whether it's in a straight line or through corners. This car is willing to let you dance with it to the absolute limit and do so lap after lap, day in and day out. Track time behind the all-new Civic Type R was fairly limited, but from what I gather, it is truly magnificent. Not only is it impressively complete in its engineering, but it does so without diluting the Type R magic. The resulting hot hatch has been improved not just one step or two, but 10. The engineering revisions has made an already great car brilliant.
We certainly enjoy driving the all-new Civic Type R right here at the Clark International Speedway, and it shows that it is the ultimate track weapon. Now, for those who are still waiting to buy the all-new Civic Type R, well, all 39 units have already been spoken for. But don't worry, Honda Cars Philippines tells us that they're working to bring more in, so we hope you stay tuned and find out more about that.